welcome to the No Spin News for Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. Stand up for your country. The theme of the No Spin News tonight, unfortunately, is government corruption. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points Memo. You probably know Attorney General Merrick Garland testified in front of the House Judiciary Committee today. Jim Jordan, Republican from Ohio, is the chairman. And it was interesting. Usually Garland and Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, and all the other federal Justice Department people tell you they can't comment because there's an investigation underway. That's not what Garland did today. Garland did the Sergeant Schultz defense. I know nothing. Remember Hogan's Heroes? Remember? Big chubby Sergeant Schultz looking away on purpose? I don't know. That was Merrick Garland. Here's how he explained it. He said that he told Senator Grassley, a Republican, that he wouldn't intrude or interfere with the Hunter Biden investigation. Okay? Because some Republicans were worried that Merrick Garland would tilt it away. So Garland goes, oh, I didn't have anything to do with it. Okay? It was all David Weiss, the U.S. attorney in Delaware, full power. But I didn't know what was happening. Okay? It was him. I promised I wouldn't get involved. Now, on the surface, it's pretty clever because every specific question, Garland says, I don't know. I wasn't following it. I don't know. I didn't hear about statute of limitations. I don't know. All right. But it falls apart. Now, I'm going to tell you why. All right. So that was what Garland's posture was. He didn't know. The House Republicans missed opportunities. I told Hannity on a radio show today, on his radio show, next time it should be Jordan, Hannity, and me interviewing Merrick Garland. No one else. Okay? Because we'd ask the specific questions that he couldn't pull that on. For example, you don't have to intrude, Mr. Attorney General, but you do have to provide oversight. So say you appoint David Weiss to investigate Hunter Biden, and Weiss is drunk every day. What are you going to do? You don't know that? You're not watching what's happening there? Or he doesn't show up for work? Or whatever it may be. The Attorney General is the boss. He doesn't have to tell Weiss, charge him with this, charge him with that, but he certainly has to provide oversight. Garland said he didn't provide any oversight. When asked why it took almost 5 years to bring stupid charges, and they were, that got thrown out by a judge against Hunter Biden, I don't know. And that is the key. And I'm just remember that. All right, let me play you 3 sound bites. First one is Congressman Mike Johnson, Louisiana, and they're talking about the length of this Hunter Biden investigation. Go.
Why has the Justice Department dragged this investigation out for so long? Does it really take years to determine if Hunter Biden lied on a federal form related to purchasing a firearm?
Mr. Weiss was a long-time career prosecutor. President Trump appointed him as the...
You're not answering the question. Is that standard procedure? Should it take that long to make such a simple determination?
I'm answering the question. Give me an opportunity to do so.
Okay.
He was charged with that investigation under the previous administration. He's continued. He knows how to conduct investigations, and I have not intruded or attempted to evaluate that.
He hasn't attempted to evaluate it. I mean, that's so absurd when you think about it. This is the top law enforcement official in the country. The president's son is being investigated for felony corruption, and he hasn't evaluated it. He should be fired on the spot. Second soundbite. Congressman Dan Bishop, North Carolina, picks up on the length of the investigation, how it affects the statute of limitations. Go.
When did the Justice Department permit statutes of limitations to expire on some of the prospective charges against Hunter Biden for tax violations?
I don't know anything about the statute of limitations here. The investigation was in the hands of Mr. Weiss to make the determinations that he thought were appropriate.
Are you unaware that statutes of limitations have in fact been allowed to expire after there having been tolling agreements in place?
I'm going to say again, the determination of where to bring cases and which kinds of cases to bring was left to Mr. Weiss.
So no oversight at all. Garland didn't know. Sergeant Schultz, I know nothing. Okay. And throwing Weiss under the bus. Weiss is going to have the noose, all right, when it comes down to the end of this. Third soundbite is, again, the same mantra. Garland must have said Trump appointed Weiss a dozen times because that's the Democratic talking point. All right. So here's the chairman, Jim Jordan. Go.
Quote, Mr. Weiss has full authority to bring cases in other jurisdictions if he feels it's necessary. That was your response, Attorney General, to Senator Grassley's question on March 1st, 2023. You just referenced it when Mr. Bishop was questioning you. Only problem is he'd already been turned down by the U.S. Attorney in the District of Columbia, Mr. Graves. So he didn't have full authority, did he?
I had an extended conversation with Senator Grassley at the time. We briefly touched on the Section 515 question and how that process went. I've never been suggested.
My point's real simple, Mr. Garland. You said he had complete authority, but he'd already been turned down. He wanted to bring an action in the District of Columbia, and the U.S. Attorney there said, no, you can't. And then you go tell the United States Senate under oath that he has complete authority.
I'm going to say again that no one had the authority to turn him down. They could refuse to partner with him. They could not.
You can use whatever language. Refuse to partner is turning down.
Well, it's not the same under a well-known Justice Department practice.
Oh, just Barney Fife. That's who that guy reminds me of, to do the sitcom motif. Well, here's the truth. U.S. Attorneys Matthew Graves in D.C. and Martin Estrada in California refused to help David Weiss. Okay? Merrick Garland could have ordered them to help David Weiss. He did not. He did not order them. All right? He had to know they refused to help because it was all over. He had to know, and Garland did nothing. All right? That's not full authority, so Garland's not telling the truth. He goes, oh, well, they can refuse to partner. It's just garbage. And this is why people think the government's corrupt, because it is. Garland is a corrupt man. It's right on display. There's two sides to that story. He's being deceptive, Garland. Now, I believe Garland. I believe him when he says, I don't know anything. Because he knew from the jump, when he took the Attorney General job, that Hunter Biden was under scrutiny. And he didn't want any part of this radioactive case at all. Because Biden appointed him to the position of Attorney General. So he said, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to know anything. Don't tell me anything. All right? I'm almost 100% sure Garland's not lying about that. But here is the final nail, and I couldn't believe the Republicans didn't ask him this. Garland had to sign off on the plea bargain that was thrown out by the judge. Garland is a former judge. He had to know the clause in the plea agreement, the initial plea agreement, that said, you, the federal government, cannot prosecute Hunter Biden for any other crimes the rest of his life, was never going to fly. Garland had to sign off on that plea. He couldn't recuse himself. That's the final nail in this deceptive man's coffin. And that's the memo. You have helped support MyPillow and their employees in these very tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows that and continues to give back with deals on his most popular products. And now there's great news. The MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. Their proprietary technology makes them absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you want in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. For a limited time, get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 when you use the promo code BILL. That's a 50% savings. So please go to mypillow.com or call 800-869-0298. Use promo code BILL to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. This is just $39.99 for a set. That deal will not last long. Okay, let's go into the mailbag. Alan Hinks, Manchester, Vermont, beautiful town, Manchester, particularly in the autumn. Vivek Ramaswamy was very refreshing. Appeals to me as I have a distrust of both parties. As a legal immigrant, I value my USA citizenship dearly. I wish the country remains the best spot on the planet. Vivek may be a bit young, but his enthusiasm and bold thoughts are what our country needs. All right, so we had Mr. Ramaswamy on yesterday. Got a lot of reaction to that. Sally Musselman, Trinity, Florida. Vivek was a great guest. Your interview was excellent as always, O'Reilly. Very insightful. But not everybody. Robert, message board. Vivek Ramaswamy reminds me of a fast-talking used car salesman. Oh, come on now. Pre-owned car salesman, that's a cliche. I know a lot of them, and some of them are good guys. He has no chance of getting a Republican nomination. I agree with that. Tanya, concierge member, which means Tanya has direct access to me. It's an insurance policy for Tanya's life. Bill, Vivek is extremely naive about Ukraine. The Ukrainians are never going to surrender their Russian-speaking territory. I don't think either side is going to give a lot there, but eventually something will have to break. David, concierge member, Trump will keep on with his non-participation in the debates to his own detriment. Meanwhile, those debate participants will slowly gain ground. Hasn't happened yet. Could, but Trump's way ahead right now. Neil Harrison, Arlington, Texas. How do you expect to reorganize the FBI without congressional approval? Neil, Congress doesn't have anything to do with the FBI. It falls under the executive branch, the president. The president controls the Justice Department. He appoints the Attorney General. He appoints the FBI director. Congress doesn't have anything to do with it. Just funds it, okay? If a president wants to do away with the FBI, the president can do that by executive order. Candace Plattenberger, Lake Orion, Michigan. I say if Senator Fetterman wants to be in office, respect the dress code. We have to do this for any work position, or can we now tell our bosses we want to come to work in our pajamas? There's a difference between government and private industry. So Candace, if you don't dress to the standards of your employer, you'll get bounced. But Chuck Schumer, Senate Majority Leader, said that Fetterman can come to work in his little hoodie. I would not have done that, but Rustum, concierge member, there is no way 80 million of us voted for Mr. Biden. Well, listen, you believe what you want to believe, Rustin, and you may be right. But historically, that's on the sheet. And that's what I have to report. Okay, Killing the Witches, out September 26th. Big announcement in Final Thought. I'm holding it over. Now, this is a book that is a little scary. I wouldn't be giving it to the urchins unless they're 13, 14. Killing the Witches influences way back then, all right, in the late 1600s, the way we live today. And there is a modern day witch hunt, the cancel culture. I tie it all in together in the book. Fall Madness Bundle, still at your disposal. Killing the Legends, Killing the Killers, any mug of your choice for $42.95. Greatest deal. Remember, gift giving coming up. And by the way, which is a great Halloween gift if you do that, better than any candy. And finally, we are on YouTube, Instagram, and Threads. Okay? We're also on Twitter, at Bill O'Reilly, and that ties into the final thought that I'm going to give you in a moment, which will surprise you. Word of the day, do not be bellicose. B-E-L-L-I-C-O-S-E. Bellicose. When writing to me, bill@BillO'Reilly.com, bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Name and town if you wish to opine. Right back with the final thought. Are you paying too much for your Medicare supplement? You might be, and especially if your plan is through the liberal AARP. But there is an alternative, and it is AMAC. AMAC is the gold standard of quality and service. With AMAC, you have access to dozens of Medicare insurers and will avoid any woke nonsense. And working with AMAC's experienced Medicare advisors is well worth your time. They will help you choose a Medicare plan that suits your health needs and your budget. But what really makes them stand apart is their values: faith, family, and freedom. The same values that are important to you. So please call them today. 888-355-5605. 888-355-5605. Your consultation with a knowledgeable AMAC advisor is free of any financial commitment. Once again, 888-355-5605. Or visit amac.us/trust. That's amac.us/trust. All right, here is the final thought of the day. So, big promotion for the next 3 or 4 weeks. I got to go over to England to see my urchin over there at Oxford, but most of the time I'm going to be doing this work, No Spin News, all the radio we do, BillO'Reilly.com, and then I'm going to be promoting Killing the Witches. We're going to kick off the Killing the Witches promotion on Twitter or X and Hunter. Okay. Ready? Tucker Carlson going to interview me. Tucker Carlson. Remember that name? He took my slot at Fox News. And now he's not at Fox News anymore. So I have a few questions for Tucker, and I'm sure he's got a few questions for me. That interview is going to be taped on Monday night in Manhattan in a secret location, all right? And then I guess Tucker is the master of his domain. He'll decide, I hope it comes out the next day, book release day, Tuesday of next week, the 26th of September. But I can guarantee you, this is not going to be a boring interview. This is going to be something for the ages. All right, we'll use some of it here on the No Spin News too. But I think you're going to want to see the whole experience. So when I get a little bit more, we know when the interview is going to take place. We don't know when X or Twitter, and I'm apart from all this world, by the way. But I got guys and gals who right in there, they know. When we know, you'll know, all right, when that's going to be put up there. But I'm hoping it will be, the evening of the 25th, right before, Amazon sends it out to you, Barnes & Noble, BillO'Reilly.com. We'll send it out to you early. If you order on BillO'Reilly.com, I'm going to get those books out. Now, I'm not going in to this interview with any preconceived questions or answers. I'm going to talk about Killing the Witches and how it applies to cancel culture and things like that. Definitely going to do that. But I don't have really much else. I mean, I'm pleased that Mr. Carlson wants to talk to me. Very pleased about that. I know him a bit. He was in Washington and I was in New York at Fox. So our paths didn't cross all that often. We have a respectful relationship. Two very different styles about broadcasting and what we do on the air. Obviously, you know that. But anything could happen in this, because I got questions. But he's the interviewer, and I'm the interviewee. So I will be respectful of that. But I'll get a few of my questions in. So anyway, we're very pleased about that because I can't think in this world right now, because this will go worldwide. This will be everywhere. They call it viral, right? Everywhere. I can think of a better vehicle right now than this. And I've never known Mr. Carlson to be deceptive. I'm not, ever. So you're going to get a healthy dose of what both of us think. So there's not going to be any deception. It's not going to be like Merrick Garland. So this drives me crazy. It really, really drives me crazy. Anyway, I hope you listened to the Hannity radio program today. So I'm posted on BillO'Reilly.com because we talk about Garland. And I will keep you posted throughout the next few days on the Carlson X Twitter situation. And most of all, we want you to check out Killing the Witches. You're going to like this book. It's going to keep you up nights. Got a lot in there, a lot of different things in there. You're going to learn a lot. Not an easy book to write, but we nailed it, I think. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast tonight. It was an important one, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.